The classic MG Roadsters brought the joy of driving a lightweight, agile car to millions of people around the world. It was a car that handled well, felt like it was going fast, and gave its drivers more fun for the dollar than anything else on the road. MGs continue to deliver the promise of affordable fun. You don't need to be wealthy to tackle the open road in an MG. MG stands for Morris Garages, the Oxford distributor for Morris cars. Cecil Kimber became its general manager in 1922 and started modifying Morris Cowleys, lowering the chassis and fitting them with more sporting bodywork. The result was Old Number 1, the first MG sports car. The first really important racing success for MG came in 1930 at Brooklands. Built in 1908, Brooklands was the first banked concrete racetrack in the world. This two-day event was similar to the 24-hour race at Le Mans in France. On their first outing, the tiny MGs beat the powerful Bentleys. One of the Bentley drivers was heard to say, "We've been invaded by fleas." MG continued to dominate sports car racing throughout the early 1930s. They won events like the Irish Grand Prix, the Isle of Man Tourist Trophy, and the Ulster TT. They also took home victories in Italy, Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Monaco. MG's growing reputation on the track paid off with increased sales. During this time, the MG company began to focus on speed records. They built a special car called the Magic Midget. In December 1930, the Magic Midget hit 87 miles per hour, breaking rival Austin's record of 84 miles per hour. By 1932, driver George Easton was determined to break the 120-mile mark at Pendine Sands in Wales. Easton hit 118 miles per hour, but he was still determined to break the 120-mile mark. To do this, the EX127 was built. It was a slimmed-down version of the original Magic Midget. So slimmed down, in fact, that Easton could no longer fit in the car. Driver Bert Denley took over and broke the record. The car would eventually hit 140 on the German Autobahn before being acquired by Mercedes-Benz for study. In 1935, MG dropped a bombshell on racing fans around England. They would no longer sponsor a factory team. They said that their quest for victory and speed had served its purpose. Enough advanced ideas had been developed that could be incorporated in their production cars for years. Besides, there was no race competition left. They hadn't won. But before the axe fell, the EX135 had been built. It was MG's most advanced record-breaking car, sporting a futuristic, streamlined design that would later be seen on cars from Mercedes and Outer Union. For years, it was campaigned by private owners before it finally fell into the hands of Major Goldie Gardner. With a supercharged engine, Gardner piloted the EX135 to a record-breaking speed of 206 miles per hour on the Autobahn. American GIs returning from Europe launched an MG phenomenon in the United States. Some of these young men had seen the MGs on their tours overseas and fell in love with the low-slung, fun-to-drive cars. The MGTC became very popular with drivers in the States. For many Americans, this was the first foreign car they'd ever seen. The MGTC was the perfect antidote for the post-war blues. It was a tiny jewel of a car that handled well, got good gas mileage, and was fun to drive. Once again, MG set its sights on speed records. This time at the Bonneville Salt Flats outside Wendover, Utah. The MG EX-179 resembled the pre-war record-breaking car of Major Goldie Gardner, but it had a larger, more efficient engine. The hopes were to break a series of Class F records. After the first day, the car with Ken Miles and Johnny Lockett broke the 12-hour world speed record, clocking 141.81 miles per hour. The next day, the team went after the Class F sprint record. Officiating the event was the United States Auto Club. With Ken Miles behind the wheel, the retuned EX-179 reached a record-breaking 170.15 miles per hour, almost 10 miles an hour faster than the old record. In just 2 days, the MG broke 16 international and 47 American national records. Revitalized by the success of the MGA, the company launched the EX-181 in 1957. It was the most advanced record-breaking car they'd ever produced. With racing legend Sterling Moss at the wheel, this all-British team set its sights on exceeding 240 miles per hour. Designed by MG engineer Sid Enever, the EX-181 was unlike any MG before it. Enever was the man responsible for the MGA, and his experience with streamlining helped create a bullet-like car that promised to be the fastest MG ever built. The team returned to the Bonneville Salt Flats, where Moss piloted the car to an astounding 245 miles per hour, a record. With this renewed interest in small, sporty convertibles, the Rover Group, which now owned the MG name, began work on an all-new open-topped roadster, the MGF. The new car boasted a mid-engine and rear-wheel drive. The British-designed 1789cc motor delivered a lively 118 brake horsepower. Rover claimed a top speed of 120 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 time of 8.5 seconds. The MGF was what British sports car fans had been waiting for. It had the latest technological advances while maintaining that classic MG charm. While there were few amenities other than electric windows, a 6-CD auto-changer and air conditioning were available options. Another nice feature was the large trunk, which could accommodate 2 golf bags. While it had yet to be released in the US, the MGF became Britain's #1 selling sports car. MG was back, and in 2000 it broadened the lineup with 3 new sports sedans, the MG ZR, ZS and the ZT. These cars gave buyers needing a back seat the same kind of driving thrill as the popular MGF. The company was never known for building a wide variety of cars. MG finally had a model for everyone. While Rover was sold, then resold, it looked as though MG would go on forever. MG has run the gamut from perky sports cars that charm the world to races that set world records. It's a car that's always been about the feeling of going fast. There may be more advanced sports cars in the world, but there isn't one that is more fun to drive. It's all about the romance of the road.